How do you see the role of music in contact improvisation?
I mean, it's very clear to me what music does. It organizes the movement. So if you don't have this outside, and it's exactly because it organizes the movement that we use it for parties. For parties, you know? So that people can dance together and they're in the same time and they're hearing the same beat and they're having an experience together. And the sound organizes the brain very quickly, so the body starts to move to the music, you know, and pretty soon the music is running the show.
Yeah.
Now, is that what a movement researcher needs, is to have music run the show?
No, but if you can imagine music in another way, music made at the same time of the dance is making.
It still takes over the body.
If the musician is in the same state of consciousness, trying to be in this dance inside, with the music, with the sound, very compenetrate with the couple dancing, and he can change the beat at the same time they're changing the beat of the dance, and they are influencing
But they won't
each
change. They won't change the beat of the dance unless they're very strong, unless they're conscious of the problem. If the dancers are conscious of the problem, that music will organize their movement and the ways they, you know, the beat will take over and they will.
And it's just not the beat. You have lots of
and
ranges
also
of sounds that can flow the tea.
And many beats in one phrase, perhaps, you know, slower things and faster things and all of that. But at some level, whatever they're listening to or focused on organizes the movement. I was trained this way. You know, I know that it helps you get through a class. It helps the time pass quicker. It adds all kinds of coloration to the experience. But what is the basic thing? My initial point, you know, what is basic to the body and the movement? So really what is basic, the sound space is chaotic. That's what we're hearing now around us. It's not a musical and organized and artistic sound space at all. And so how does the body deal with that? I'm interested in that kind of question. For the mover, I guess in a way the touch and the momentum in contact improvisation also organizes the bodies, you know. So there's a different organizing principle, but I think we just need to explore outside of music. Not always.
Yeah.
I quite like music, and I love dancing contact to music. You know, it seems to me that we learn by contrasts. You know, so that's why people like things in black and white. You know, we get a lot of information out of stark contrast. But we can get. There are other ways. The contrast can happen other ways. You know, it doesn't have to always be
black and white.
Black and white. It doesn't only have to be two things. More things can, you know, the composition from which we learn can be quite complex. But if it gets too complex, then we get bewildered, you know. For instance, in the helix roll today, I described it as two spirals, each one of which is moving in two directions at once. So that's four things to think about. I think that is an overload.
Is enough.
No, it's too much.
More than enough.
It's too much. I think more than about three things in our action, in our conscious and what do you call it, active state, is a lot to handle. And it really takes a lot of practice. You know, for a pianist to get all those fingers working independently is an incredible work. Yeah. I arrive in Brazil with this study that I'm making of the material for the spine. I have a very short time to teach it. I have already done contact improvisation. I know that this comes from contact improvisation, And I hope it will go back into contact improvisation at some point, but I can't do it all in a very short time. I have absolutely no interest in this class in confusing the issues. I want people to find new material for the spine and the pelvis. But I don't know, I'm a simple guy, and I look for simple forms, and I like one thing on my plate at a time.
Do you have any hint or clue for movers searching for new horizon in art or life itself?
Practice, practice, practice. It's the same hint that everybody has been told. To bring something out of chaos, I think you have to repeat. Be able to repeat. Be able to identify and repeat.
Until you make it clear.
So when you find something that you can't repeat, then learn to repeat that. It's very difficult to talk about this because in a way we're talking about the unknown and the future. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it will be all that different than the present. At least for a while. It'll stay more or less like this.
Well, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
For this.
Thank you for asking.